There are times on this program when we will go to a property that you instantly recognize. You can tell from the very first moment exactly what course we're featuring. But I'm going to guess that today that's not the case. And I'm super excited to introduce you to a brand new place for you to play in the Ann Arbor, Brighton, Novi area, more specifically in Pinckney, as today we showcase Timber Trace Golf Club.
Welcome to Michigan Golf Live Television, shining the spotlight on the best places to play, stay, and celebrate the greatest game on earth. Stay connected to Michigan Golf Live 24/7 on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and our YouTube channel. And subscribe for free to our weekly FORE Golfers Network podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere podcasts are found. Here's your host for MGL TV, Bill Hobson.
Hello friends, Bill Hobson here. It's great to have you with us, and today is one of my favorite forms of this program because we're introducing to many of you a brand new place to play. It's located not too far from Ann Arbor, not too far from Brighton, not too far from Novi, sort of along that US 23 and I-96 intersection in Pinckney. It's called Timber Trace Golf Club, and it's got a fantastic story. It really works into three parts: renovation, rejuvenation, and community. So let's head to the golf course and start telling that story, because by the time we wrap everything up, these beautiful Adirondack chairs will be filled with the gallery overlooking number 18 and soaking in what has become a very special golf experience here at Timber Trace. It is impossible to accurately tell the story of Timber Trace and not begin with the concept of renovation, because this course had fallen into a bit of disrepair over the years. And so a massive team effort has taken place, and now this place is spectacular. Helping to lead that team effort is the golf course superintendent, Mike Daly, whose hands have literally been in the dirt for more hours than most people could ever imagine. So what's the process been like? You started with the before picture. What's the after picture goal?
Well, what we'd like to do is just get this course back to the original, back when it was first built back in 1980 or 98. And we're just going hole by hole, tee, fairway, green. The bunker renovation is in full swing. We're just trying to, get everything back the way it's supposed to be.
It'd be wonderful to just snap your fingers and have it all happen instantly, but that's not how this kind of thing works when you're in nature. So as you think back to some of those before pictures, as we take a look at those, how different is the place right now from what it was just a year or two ago?
It's a process, and when we started, we saw a lot of problems that we had to address, and what I've tried to do is take it from most important to least important. And right now, we're very proud to say in the second year, the tees are better, the greens are better, the fairways are better, and that was our number one concern. The bunkers are gonna take time. It's not a one-year thing. It's gonna take 2 years, maybe even 3 years. It's a lot of money. We have to maintain the golf course first, and then secondly, we concentrate on all the projects.
Let's talk about the 6 holes you and I are playing together. I've got 3 playing partners in today's program. They're each going to play 6 holes with me. So right off the first tee, there's a fair amount of challenge to a lengthy par 4 there.
Yes, my favorite part of number 1 is the tall trees, the timbers along the left side, hence the name Timber Trace. But yeah, it's a subtle dogleg right, a beautiful fairway bunker, and a kind of an uphill green finishing hole, or a start hole. But yeah, it's come a long way. The grass in the fairway was a little messy at first, but we've got that hole looking pretty good. Number 2 is one of my favorite holes. The tee shot is everything, with a big gorge kind of in front of the tee complex. Your second shot, it gets a little more narrow as you get closer to the green. Bunkers surrounding the fairway all the way down, and then another greenside bunker on the left. But yeah, a beautiful hole. Like I said, the bunkers kind of shape the hole, but from a standpoint of playability, it's just one of my favorite holes in the course.
We get to number 3, and you can get an iron in your hand, right? A little par 3, and a beautiful framing of that big green, and being above the hole on 3 is not a fantastic idea.
No, there's a lot of tough pins on that hole, and if you're long, you're putting downhill, and it can be very tough, as we found out today. But community here, everybody likes that hole. It's a beautiful par 3.
One of the things that I always enjoy about a course that's set among trees is how the green complexes are framed. And as we hit driver on 4, you tend to let your eyes drift up to what it looks like for your second shot. What's 4 like?
Number 4, a lot of people look at that as in the fall. It's one of the prettiest holes on the golf course with all the trees down the right side. But it's a big fairway, a lot of space. People love to hit driver on that hole. The green complex, again, has a nice bunker in the front, some movement on the green, but just overall a beautiful hole, especially in the fall.
And as we come here to number 5, another beautifully framed hole.
Yeah, as you can see, this hole, it's kind of, we're in a chute right now, going down in bunkers left and right. This hole is under probably the biggest renovation right now. The backdrop, when you get up to the green, you kind of have a nice view off the backside, but one of my favorite holes.
The 6th hole from tee to green. A little tour, if you don't mind.
Little dogleg left. From the back tees, you've got to hit a good tee shot to get out to where you can see the green. There's a giant bunker on the right side and 2 greenside bunkers that we actually just finished and are finishing today with some new white sand. It's a good par 4 if you hit a good tee shot.
Well, there's no way to tackle a project like this without talent at the top. So Mike, thanks for the work you're doing.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
You've been here long enough to see the work, the effort to bring this place back to what it needs to be. What's it been like to watch that process?
It's been absolutely fantastic. It's a place where I would bring people, I would bring my customers out here to play the game out here. I wouldn't have done that about 3 years ago. And I always walk out here every day during the wintertime, and I see these guys working and what they're doing behind the scenes that people don't even notice during the wintertime to make this golf course better and better and better. And I can't wait to see what it's going to look like in 2 years.
It's very scenic, it's very fair, so I think people of all skill sets are going to have a good time out here. And to me, it's kind of like being up north, but it's close.
Well, when they described this as a team effort, I guess I wasn't prepared for how literal they meant that to be. But my understanding is that a little later on in the program, we've got brisket coming, and I've sort of got to earn my way to that position. So we'll take a break. When we come back, more of the great story of Timber Trace, a story of renovation, rejuvenation, and community, continues after this. And if you're bored, grab a shovel and help out a little bit, would you? Welcome back into the show as we bring you to Timber Trace Golf Club in Pinckney, that's near Ann Arbor, near Brighton. And I know this, at some point in all of our lives, we have to go to the doctor. Well, for my money, if I have to go to a doctor, I'd kind of like him to be named the Smoke Doctor. So let's go inside and find some secrets to great smoked meats. And to get those secrets, Cornell is our man.
Hey, how you doing?
What's the secret, man? I give golf tips. I need some smoking tips.
My best tip I can give you is patience.
Patience.
Patience make great barbecue.
I like great barbecue. So what do you mean by patience? What do I have to be patient about?
I think like a lot of guys, they know the flavor that they want, but a lot of times it comes down to time and how much time they're willing to let it rest, how much time they're willing to cook it. So things like that is important when it comes to great taste. Because like you don't want to cook it for too long because your fat content leaves. You don't want to cook it for under a less amount of time because then it's going to be tough and not done.
There's great golf, but as owner Cliff McClellan can tell us, there's a little bit more to the experience from a culinary standpoint.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, no, this is good stuff. We get involved other members of our community. Smoke Doctor was is one of the restaurants in the area, and he helps us in any of our special events.
I've got an entire plate of brisket. What is this?
That is smoked ribeye.
Smoked ribeye?
Smoked cowboy ribeye.
Oh, that's the best kind of ribeye.
It is the best kind.
So at Timber Trace, of course, they have the menu items that you're more accustomed to with a quick grab a snack at the turn kind of an idea. There's some pizza, there's some brats, and hot dogs, and hamburgers. Well, I'm going to have a little brisket, and then Cliff and I are going to head out to the 7th hole to continue our tour of this great golf course. And it's always so difficult when the brisket's so tender, it just keeps falling off of the fork. But we'll deal with that sort of adversity in the interest of quality television. And make sure when you come to Timber Trace, you leave some time for dinner. Timber Trace is on its way back, right, to what they maybe remembered from years ago.
Exactly.
What was it about this place, this property, that fueled your passion to do this? You could have done other things.
Yeah. Well, I retired 6 months after I retired, and after I cleaned the garage floor 3 times, I realized I needed something else to do. And I played here for the last 25 years off and on. It's a lot of great memories. And now I live here. And you know, a lot of people that live around here, I think, would deserve to have a nice place to play golf. And certainly the potential was there. It just needed a little extra love and attention. And so that's what we've been doing.
Here you are, 15 minutes from Brighton, 20 minutes from Ann Arbor. There are people coming to both of those areas or over to Novi. You're really well located for people who are looking for maybe a new golf experience, who are coming to this metro region from wherever. Are you finding some first-timers discovering Timber Trace?
You know, a lot of the people had been here before at some point in time and stopped coming. And we have roughly 50 to 60% of the people that come on the weekends come from an hour or more away.
Wow.
From south of Ann Arbor, even Novi, Plymouth, that area, Lansing. So that's really positive to see.
You inherited me on 7 through 12, which means we started and ended with a par 3, but let's walk everybody through. Start us off on number 7.
Number 7's a hard hole. People rarely get on that green in one. So once you get on, putting can be challenging depending on where the pin is.
We get up to number 8, which is a nice par 5, a little bit of a turn to the left, and everything you want off the tee box.
Yeah, absolutely, but pretty wide open.
Yep.
You can hit it a little bit left, a little bit right, and it's you know, there's quite a few birdies from that on that hole.
We didn't make them.
No, we didn't.
We left them out there for everybody else. We come to number 9, and it's a moderate length par 4, but that green also demands that you're accurate with your irons, which I've had trouble with today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it kind of sets up a little bit. People want to go right on that hole, and unfortunately for them, a lot of times there's a sand trap over there, and they end up in that sand trap. And the same thing up when they come up to the green. The opening's not real wide, and a little push to the right, and it's easy for that ball to go into the sand trap.
So let's make the turn. We'll head over right away to number 10. You and I just have 3 holes left together. What's the challenge and the beauty of 10?
Well, 10 I think is our signature hole.
Yeah.
It's, you know, when it's a little longer, par 4, it's got a lot of texture and character to the hole. And then around the green, you got some bunkers that are well placed. It's not an easy putting green no matter where you end up.
When we move over to number 11, we have this hole that from the green tees, which is probably where a lot of your guests play, comes out at 288, a shorter par 4. It does not mean it's an easy par 4.
Big risk reward hole. Some of the bigger hitters can get to the green, but they may end up on one of those bunkers right in front of the green. And then pitching from there is a tough pitch because the green's not very deep and it's very undulated. So it's a pretty good challenge. Your shot there today was one of the best.
So when we get to that stretch at 10, 11, 12, we start to see some of the bunker renovations that have taken place. We go to some bright sunshiny sand. It looks like it should be on the beach somewhere. Yeah. And it's really, really nice. I know that's your goal throughout the course. It just takes a little time to get there.
Absolutely, and it's really fun to hit out of.
And then we rounded our time together out on number 12, par 3 at 200 yards. Quite an effort today, and that would be a great 3 to walk off with. I got fortunate and walked off with a 2, but
you did. What's
the challenge of that hole besides the length?
Well, the green, the shape of the green is a little difficult from the tee box. It's you know, kind of kidney shaped, and so you don't really have a big area to hit to. And your shot there was a great shot, and very few balls end up that close to the hole off the tee.
Just for the record, when you see the putt go in for birdie, it was my first take. I have a witness. Hey, thank you so much for sharing with all of us your passion for restoring this place, and it's working. It's really, really good. I have no doubt you're going to see a lot more first-time guests who come through and say, wow, I can't believe how easy it was to find, what a great value it was, and what a great golf experience it was. So to you and your team, job well done.
Thank you very much.
You grew up at this place.
Yes.
And so you know every nook and cranny of Timber Trace. What's special about this as your home course?
Timber Trace is just an amazing course. Every hole kind of sets up differently, so it's great for all ages. I personally love number 2. Hole number 2, it's a par 5. I've learned how to hit a long drive on that hole, and I think that's really special that I got to grow up out here and see the way it's developed and helped me develop my game.
Timber Trace is really a special golf course, and it's a challenge, and every day it can be challenging, no matter how long you play it or how short you play it. It's really a good golf course. The golf course is manicured now, where before you had to really hunt to find your ball in the rough, but he's got rough at 2 inches, and the fairways are manicured. The greens are as good as I've ever seen them, and it's just really a pleasure to come out and play.
Well, so far we have talked about the renovation and the rejuvenation of Timber Trace Golf Club, and we haven't been here all that long, but they've already made me feel like a part of the family, which they'll do for you as well. So since I'm a part of the family, the least I can do is take part in a really cool Timber Trace tradition, which is the glove tree. They tell me that by the time this season comes to an end, there will be hundreds and hundreds of gloves here from people who just wanted to be part of community, which is rather fitting because that's the next focus when we come back after this break. So I'm going to add a glove to the collection, and now I've got to go find a glove. I'll do that. We'll be back with more from Timber Trace in Pinckney after this. Welcome back into the show as we highlight for you Timber Trace Golf Club in Pinckney, which is near Ann Arbor and Brighton. It's a beautiful 18-hole property that stretches across a whole lot of territory, including about a 10-minute cart ride between number 12 green and 13 tee. But as we get to number 13, we're also ready in these final few moments to tell the story of how this course and this community have partnered together. We have tried to make the case throughout the program that Timber Trace is truly a welcoming, excellent golf course and is really intertwined with this Pinckney community and the entire region. I want to bring in one of the co-owners of this place, Joey Pena, to talk about that aspect of it, because it is kind of cool to see the neighborhoods rallying around Timber Trace. What's that been like for you?
It's the feedback we've gotten from the community, from Pinckney, from the surrounding communities. People who live on the golf course, they're happy to have their golf course back. Yeah, we came out here a year or so prior to shoot the before footage because you guys have done so much work. And I remember hearing then people saying, it's just a shame. It used to be so good. And now they're all super excited because it's back. Yeah. Yeah, the course when it first opened was one of the best around, one of the best in Livingston County. As you've seen last year and this year, the bones are in place for it to be a great golf course. Unfortunately, it's been a couple years going into disarray. The pumps went out. We weren't able to water for an entire summer. So when the new ownership took over, it was in about as bad a condition as it could be in. And over the course of the last year, you know, we've had a blast bringing it back. It is amazing to see the progress from just a year ago until we're standing here today. And there's still even more to go. And at the same time, you have begun hearing from people with enthusiastic feedback, right? Yeah, 100%. The feedback we have from the community, the feedback we have from our outreach on social media, people coming from, you know, over an hour away to play the course. The feedback has just been great. People are happy to see it coming back to the way it was in the late 90s and early 2000s when I started playing it. Well, those efforts are not easy. They take time, they take effort, they take energy, they take investment. I cannot wait to see the last couple of chapters of a story that's already pretty cool. Yeah, it's been a wonderful ride so far, and it's going to continue that same way. There's a great family aspect out here. It's a very welcoming environment. We have programs for junior players. We have a set of par 3 tees on every hole. For people that are just learning the game, or maybe you don't want to play it as a full course, we really welcome juniors, we welcome seniors, we welcome people that have never played before. We want to be that golf course where, you know, golf can be an intimidating game to try and break into, especially if you don't have anyone to show you the ropes or help introduce you to it. So we want to be that place where people are comfortable to come and give it a try and you know, have a good experience while they're doing that.
You and I are playing the closing stretch, 13 through 18, so take us to 13T.
Yeah, 13, so we have a rule around here. If you can come out of 10, 11, and 12 plus one, you're setting yourself up to maybe shoot a good score on the back. So 13 is a relatively straightforward par 4. You have a fairway bunker 80-ish yards short of the green that you have to either lay up or fly over. But assuming you miss that bunker, you should be able to get up and down for a pretty easy par.
Although 13 green is one example of a few that we'll see on this stretch of shallow greens, right?
Very thin.
You're going to have a challenging time hitting it with a low shot. You better be able to put the ball in the air.
100%. Yep. You got to be able to hit it high and land it soft.
All right, number 14. Speaking of hitting it high and landing it soft, this is a long par 4 at 396 from the green tees that we played.
Yep. Yeah, 14, another, what you see is what you get right in front of you. Very wide fairway. There's bunkers on the left and right, but if you can keep it in the fairway, you have yourself set up for a nice approach and hopefully another 2-putt par.
We are coming up to back-to-back par 5s. You don't see that feature very often on golf courses, and they're both fairly beefy. So let's go first of all to 15 at 574 from our tees, 604 from the back.
Yeah, what's fun about 15 and 16 is, like you said, you don't get to play back-to-back par 5s very often. They are beefy. You know, you're seeing a lot of driver 3-wood, driver 2 hybrid, but you can also lay up on that second shot and play both of them as a traditional 3-shot par 5. They're both bunkered wonderfully, but if you avoid the bunkers, you have a nice big inviting green on 15. Depending on where the pin is, it can be a very difficult putt, as you saw. You have a ridge that you have to go through. 16, same thing. It's a little bit uphill, dogleg left, more bunkers that you have to avoid, and also a thin green. If you get lucky and the pin is on the left or right side of the green, you can kind of attack it. If it's behind the bunker, you just got to be happy walking out of there with a par.
There have been a couple of times where both of us put our approach shots in the exact wrong spot. You've got the greens rolling true, rolling fast, and if you're above the hole, you're going to have some issues out here.
100%, yeah. The greens were rolling at about 11 2 weeks ago. We didn't stimp them today. It's been dry leading up to you playing it, so we've been putting a lot of water down on it. But some of the fastest greens around that you'll play.
And they're pure. I mean, they're very, very true, which is not easy to accomplish, especially we happen to be talking at a very dry stretch of the season. So job well done to the entire team. That brings us to 18, a really fun finishing hole where you can hit everything you have in the bag, and if you're a big hitter like Joey, you end up maybe all the way down in the valley with a little chip in. If you're me, you've got about 90 yards in from the top of the slope.
Yeah, depending on the tees that you play, if you can catch that hill that's behind us, you can roll down almost all the way onto the green. If you get good roll, you can get onto the green. But it's a great finishing hole. It's downhill, and then if you're lucky, you'll have spectators finishing off behind you on number 18.
The folks in the Adirondack chairs relaxing and soaking in that part of Timber Trace that I know your team really wanted to bring back, which was the feeling of your home. You don't have to finish your round and depart. You can hang out here and be among friends.
Yeah, 100%. Whether it's finishing around with a cold beverage in the Adirondack chairs and watching people finish up their rounds, or hanging out on our patio, or hanging out in the bar and grill on the inside, there's plenty of places to enjoy your post-round activities here.
Thanks for being my third playing partner today and for bringing us down the home stretch.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
You live here.
I
so
live here.
This must be a special place for you. Why did you choose to live at Timber Trace and be a member here?
This is community, it's family, it is an amazing course. We've watched the evolution for the last couple of years. As we built our home, we were here probably every week just watching what was going on and just knowing this was going to be a place where we wanted to retire, where we want to be. Every time we come out to the course, there's something different, there's something new, there's social activities, there's family feeling, and you know, the golf is great.
Right.
The golf is awesome. One of these days I will master 15.
If
or
you
maybe
master
never.
it, call me.
I will.
And let me know what that took. I have to tell you, friends, there are not many settings more beautiful or relaxing than this one. Adirondack chair at the back of 18 after a beautiful round at Timber Trace. And now the invitation is extended to all of you to come here and tee it up. Obviously, they're open to the public, located conveniently near Ann Arbor, Brighton, Novi, anywhere in that metro region, and you want a great golf experience? go online to timbertracegolf.com and make your way to a place that is a tremendous story to appreciate. A story of renovation, rejuvenation, and community. We'll look forward to seeing you here in Pinckney somewhere down the road.